Down those engines, mister. Better get the hell out of there.
Going through. I swear it. I'm going through!
Soukyugurentai on the PlayStation 1. Welcome, guys. This is what people call the special version, mostly because it's more of an arrange. So I would consider this is like a Destiny to Ketsui, right? So this is like a easier version. A lot of things are changed, and I'll go along with those changes as we go on. This is Struggle, the video game, for me, because it's so different to anything I've ever played in the way that each run is different. Like, you can route it based on, like enemy positioning and crews and stuff, because they pretty much always come out at the same place, the same amount. But, like your drops are different. Sometimes they'll just do different attacks that you're not expecting, that you've never seen before sometimes. This tones that down quite a bit. It's still in there from what I've noticed, but so the first big difference is it includes this ship that I'm playing right here, Oubu. He can lock onto 8 different enemies at the same time and has 2 really great like lock-on attacks that just do a ton of damage, and it feels like the game is balanced around him. So for those of you who haven't played this game, first of all, go watch DMC's world record run. It is amazing, and you can tell that man put in a ton of time into this game, and this game is well worth putting time in, even if you don't want to, like, once you see it. It's just really fun, and just like any other Rising game, it is super unique, and its world feels alive, and it's got a really cool, like, dystopian, cyberpunk, corporations rule everything, and you're a private mercenary kind of story. It's really cool and unique. So, yeah, I have been playing the Saturn version for about 2 months now. And, also I'm skipping cutscenes too, because they kind of suck. But, I've been playing the Saturn version for about 2 months now. And, getting close to the end, or getting to the end and then choking because I just don't have enough resources. So what I thought about doing is there's a special menu in the Otokyo version which allows you to change a lot of the like dip switches in the game, and I thought about making it more like this one where you can get extends every 30,000 points instead of only 2 in the base Saturn version, and then toning down the difficulty a little bit until I got more used to it, because that's kind of the thing in original Soukyugurentai, and I'm so tired of hearing people say, oh, it's so easy, it's so easy. Well, where's your fucking clear in this? Because it's not easy. It wants you to play a certain way, and that certain way is pretty much unlike any other shmup I've ever played in my life. And that's kind of what makes it, right? Is that, you know, I have to learn this skill. I'm not learning a shmup, I'm learning Soukyugurentai. A lot like how Battle Gurega is. And I get why people, you know, like this game from afar. I feel the same way about Metal Black. I love Metal Black. I will never 1cc it because it's just, the gameplay is just not for me. There's certain things that I don't like that it does, and I know a lot of people feel the same way about this one. In the original Saturn version, you really can't pick up any P icons unless you just want the bullets to be like lightning fast. Some people can deal with that, some can't. This version, one of the biggest issues is that since it's like a Saturn game that's being ran on a PlayStation, is it feels like you're skating on ice. That's probably why people only play the busted ship, is because he's so much slower than all the other ships that he feels controllable. He feels like I said, like the game is made around him. His hitbox feels smaller, and I know this all just is a feel thing. This is not facts at all. But I remember I was playing this game, and I was going with Swordfish, which is the red ship. Toru, I think, is the Japanese name for her. And, you know, because I was going to take those skills over to the Saturn version. And either Snoop or Bimpus on the board that was like, and shout-outs to them, by the way, that was like, hey, why don't you play the special ship? And I was like, I don't play secret characters. I don't. It feels weird to me. Like, when I'm playing Gurega, I don't play, you know, the Maho characters. Because those are Maho characters, not Gurega characters. I don't know, it's some weird, you know, story thing for me that I'll probably end up, you know, jettisoning at some point. But at some point I was just like, fuck it, you know, I'm gonna play this secret character. It's right after that crash out that I had that you guys all heard, and I cleared it the first time I played him, and it felt so great that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go in again. And then I learned my routing around this character, because it is slightly different, because he can lock on to you know, 8 instead of 6 characters, 6 enemies. And I had a blast. This is my 3rd attempt at scoring in this, because I had so much fun doing it. And but now after this, I'm going to move on to the Saturn version and clear it. I was talking to my wife this morning before I recorded this, and I was like, you know, other games that I've, like, completed my goal on, I move on from. I move on to, I'm ready to play a different game. This feels so different, because I'm still actively playing it. You know, even if it is a different version, like, I think I might have found one of, like, my games, if that makes sense. There's something about this game that I love and hate at the same time. I don't, you know, really fuck with a lot of the randomness. I don't fuck with how hard it punishes you as a player for just picking up stuff. But there's a sense of, like, I can't let it get the best of me that I feel in other games, especially games like Ketsui, and, like, games that are known for being, like, very difficult but fair. And it's like I can't let it win. Just like that quote I had at the beginning, like, I don't want to do this, I need to do this. I was recording a podcast with Spiders, and one of the things me and him were talking about was that shmups almost, hear me out, almost are like a form of athleticism. You know, like, you can't tell me that you know, you can't tell me that it didn't take a form of mental and physical fortitude for Desmaku to sit down for 6 or 7 hours and do that 6-all in Violent Storm. Or even, like, just normal beat-em-ups, like Germ playing Captain Commando, where it's 2 hours long or whatever. You know, you can't tell me that that doesn't take a little bit of something that a lot of people that aren't playing these games don't have. You know, I'm not considering us athletes or anything ridiculous like that, but we're building ourselves up to a higher standard. We hold ourselves at a higher standard. These shmups are a mirror into ourselves, and sometimes that can be a very ugly place, but we do it for a positive outcome. And I feel like my life has gotten better because of the struggle of, like, proving to myself that I can do it. That's why I can't. That's why we can't go back to normal video games. Or if we can, we know that they're different. There's something different about them. Is because we've experienced that, like, golden opportunity, and we can't unsee that specialness that's, like, right in front of us. And it kind of sucks in a way that, you know, it's like opening your eyes for the first time. It's great. It's, you know, it's got a good and a bad. It's like opening your eyes for the first time and seeing the world is so beautiful, and you can't close them again because, you know, what you've seen is just so sublime. Okay, so now I'm actually going to talk about the video game. There's 6 stages, including an extra stage at the end, which that was what the Crash Out was about, because I thought I had completed it. And I didn't know that the PlayStation version has an extra stage in it. So, yeah, this guy can lock on to 8 instead of 6, like most of the other ones can. The more lock-ons you have at one time, you get a multiplier, and then everything that hits during that multiplier is that. So, like it says, times 6. So the enemy destruction and even tick points go up times 6. At least, you know, I'm sure that DMC in the comments will probably correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just what I've seen in the versions I've played. But out of all the people, out of all the bosses that I've faced in this game, this guy is the most random. Sometimes he is a piece of cake. Sometimes he just literally won't do anything. He'll just kind of like shoot his lasers, and you'll just stay in the middle, and he won't do shit. And then other times, he is the hardest boss in the game. Sometimes harder than the final boss, in my opinion. Just because, like, his variance. And that is pretty much the story of this whole video game. Is that, you know, sometimes you'll play it, and it will be the easiest game you've ever fucking played, right? And then other times you will, and you'll feel like it's, you know, second loop DOJ. You know, with a mix of Gurega. Like, yeah, like I almost got hit by a fucking missile right there, but he died right as it did. So, end of stage, like if you kill all enemies in a stage, it gives you just like an incredible amount of points. But I find that kind of difficult to do because you have to let them like bottle up a little bit, and they will continue to fire that whole time, just filling the screen with bullets, and I find that a little difficult. Still, Swordfish is my favorite ship. I really like her 2 weapons. So each ship has 2 different weapons that you select with, I play on stick, so it's my thumb, the X button, which you can set up the controls to however you want, but this guy has like a laser, like a high hitting laser, high damage laser, and then kind of like a Macross missile one that is more for like people behind him and shit. it's more of a circle. You'll see me use it in just a second, I think. It does less damage than this one does, but he's also got a pretty crazy shot, which in the Saturn version, you don't really ever want to use your shot because it increases your rank like crazy. But in the PlayStation version, you can just kind of go nuts with it, which is pretty cool because it makes you feel a lot stronger. Yeah, see the ×7 on that. Also, because a lot of the randomness is taken away, you get less bombs, because that's one of the reasons DMC was able to get his world record score, was because of the bomb bonuses he was getting. So after you reach a certain point with your bombs and your power-ups, your shots, they almost become like medals in a like Bat game, like Bat Rider, Battle Gurega. That's kind of something you will probably never end up engaging with in the Saturn version, but something that you do end up engaging with in this version, because the rank is so slow to like build up. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to destroy his two like afterburn engines. I'm trying to destroy his two engines on the side, because if you do, it automatically takes him to the next like part of his of the battle. And I find this part right here to be a lot easier, as long as I'm shooting, because he'll release these big missile clusters in the front, and they can be a pain in the ass to deal with. Right here, you don't want to be in front of him, because he'll hit you with some fucking machine gun fire. Okay, so just like every Rising game, the final stage is like half of the game length. So get ready, because this is a pretty crazy final stage, and just the amount of bullshit it throws at you. I have not died up to this point, but I'm about to fucking eat shit at some of the most ridiculous times. And this is pretty much always where I would die, is when you get to like kind of like this weird boss rush at the end of the game. It just drains your resources like crazy. Like even in DMC's world record run, he gets hit a couple times, because it just becomes so insane at the end, especially like in the Saturn version, when the bullets are getting so fast. You just kind of dodge and pray for the best. Right there, I forgot that they come up at that like angle and got hit by them spawning in, which really pissed me off. It really made me want to restart, but I'm glad that I didn't. Yeah, there's like these guys in the background. The blue guys you always want to take out, because they hit at like these weird angles. The other guys just kind of fill the screen with bullets, which if you're decent, you can avoid. I really wanted that fucking bomb. I needed that bomb. Those guys like get hit and then come back, and you can kind of forget about them a little bit, because you're like, oh shit, they're dead, and then they come right back. I was still trying to score as many ×7s as possible here, but I also wanted to survive. So I could have scored better right here, but I'm happy with what I did. It took me a minute to become happy with what I did, because there's part of my brain that, after like the first bit of me being happy that I did it, like, goes away, I'm like, I could do better. I could do better. Like, at first I'm like, fuck yeah, I did it, da-da-da-da-da. But then 5 minutes later, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I could do better. I could do better. I don't really know where that comes from. I know that, because these games are heavily personal, it's probably something I should go to therapy for. But, it makes that feeling of success all the better, you know? Like, we wouldn't celebrate if these things were easy, you know? This guy's pretty ridiculous. This guy is going to start what I call the boss rush here, which isn't necessarily a boss rush. I mean, I guess it is. You fight him, and then you fight another, like, thing, and then you fight this big plane, and then you fight a boss, and then you fight another big plane, and it's just like, oh my god, this part of the game is a resource check, in my opinion. It is checking to see how much shit you've built up throughout the entire game. Because, like, in the Saturn version, if you have enough bombs, you know, if you are good with your extends and everything, you know, you can at least get close to tasting that, the victory, just from sheer, you know, like, banging your head against the wall, just from sheer, willpower alone. Now, it does take a little bit more than that to clear it, like, what I would say, you know, like, effectively, but I haven't reached that point yet. Because, you know, like, imagine these bullets about 3 times faster, and that's how they come out in the Saturn version. It is insane. You know, like, I talk all this shit, I guess. I guess it's shit, I don't know. Because I'm not necessarily complaining, because, like, I look at this gameplay, and the whole time I'm looking at it, I'm like, I want to play it again. I want to play it again. I think it's such a weird, like, it's such a weird feeling of, like, admitting that, like, this thing has beat me senseless. And you know what? I'm a fucking go back while this thing is rendering and play it again. You know, play the Saturn version again. And what's crazy is that there is a 2-loop version on the budget version of Tokyo, right? Soukyugurentai of Tokyo. There's like a dip switch you can hit that turns on a 2-loop version, and on RS, not a single person has even played it. Not a single person has even put a score up. And so that's what I'm gonna do. Is after this, I'm gonna take a short break, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna clear that fucking 2-loop motherfucker. I might see you in 6 months, you know, but I'm gonna be chipping away at it in the background. I'm gonna get a 2-loop Soukyugurentai clear. Mark my fucking words. Here in a year when I actually do it, mark my words, I'll put this clip in. Yeah, I'm trying to think of, because I know Hazy was talking that, like, you know, some of this is not necessarily confusing, but that there was a lot of, like, questions they had about this game, and it is, like, even to me, even after playing it, there are questions I have about this game, you know, where I'm not sure, I'm just kind of guessing my best, you know, because there's, at least I've never really met anybody that's a super expert on it other than DMC, you know, and there's people that have played it, there's people that have played it a lot, but it's kind of a game that you got to be on your toes with the entire time you're playing it, because you don't want it to catch you slipping, man. Like, it will fuck you. Even this version, even this easier version, you know? Because I'm not going to sit here and admit that this version was not easier, because it was, you know? Was it still a battle? Fuck yeah, it was. Do I feel great, you know, of getting the score that I got? Fuck yeah, I do. You know? Fuck yeah, I do. So right here, that's the final boss of the Saturn game, right? I was like, yes, I got it. I fucking called Chris, and I was like, dude, I got it. I just fucking cleared Soukyugurentai. And then I hear this shit in the background. I'm like, wait, what? Pick up my stick again? I had nothing left, right? No bombs. I think I had like 1 or 2 lives left. I was not expecting this. And I hear this girl talking shit like, oh no. What the fuck is it throwing at me now? And it's this thing. This is only in the PlayStation version. And it's like this weird extra stage. It doesn't really have a boss. It's got that tower at the end of it. But I think that this feels to me like it's more of a way of you being able to get more points, honestly, because they just throw fucking everything at you. Every enemy type, 2 layers, you know, just fucking everything, dude. It's kind of sloppy in a way, but you could say that about the entirety, the entire output of Rising's catalog is sloppy, but you know, like, it has a great heart. It has really unique feeling to it. Like, there's nothing like a Rising game. Like, even people that have tried to make games like Rising that have that same feeling just have never succeeded. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but they definitely made games like no one else. And, you know, I love that we can experience them. Right here, I was getting boxed, and I was like, I knew that when I killed that tower, it was going to give me, you know, fucking 3 million points or whatever. And I was going to beat my PB. I just had to make it. You know, because I don't know if lives are counted out at the end. Because I cleared, the last time I cleared with 4 lives. And my score was less. So I don't think lives are counted towards your end goal. You know? But, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments, and that would be really nice to know if they are. If it was just the fact that I had 4 lives and no bombs, so it counted, you know, my lives as nothing. Yeah, I would like to know, because I don't really look up a lot of stuff on a game while I'm playing it. Not that I feel like that's cheating or anything, but it's just something I personally like to do. I like to find out a lot of the stuff for myself, even if I'm incorrect. You know, it reminds me of, you know, like Goji Guy's newest video where he talks about true arcade design. It reminds me of going into a game blind, like back in the day, when, you know, all you had was that booklet that told you just very, you know, simple, to the point things, never went into detail, and then you had to find out kind of all the ins and outs around it, and then you shared that with everyone else, and, you know, either you were wrong, you know, it wasn't about being wrong or right, it was about the fact that you cared enough to learn this game, you know, and that's kind of the whole cusp around, like, why these games are important, is it's not about memo, it's not about, you know, reflex, it's not about anything else. It's about how much do you care about the game that you're playing. You know, to me, this is all to me. Anybody else can play exactly the way that they want to play, and that's fine, you know. But for me, it's, I can't play a game that I don't like. I can't play a game I don't care about. I can't, you know. But, like, at the same time, I can play Rapid Hero because I like it, you know? And then even at times like this, when I'm playing Soukyugurentai, I don't ever hate the game. Because if I hated the game, I wouldn't play it. I might sometimes hate the process, you know? Of like, fuck, this is beating my ass. I never hate the game, you know? And also, I'm not talking shit on people that do. I'm just saying that that's how I am, personally. And that's okay that we can all be different. I think that that's super important also. So thank you guys for sticking around. Have a good day.